Hello, everyone. It's Paranormal Reactor here. Today, we're gonna read some r/paranormal stories. Let's get straight into this. First one: Encounter a black-eyed adult. 10 years ago, I used to work for a Walmart as sales associate in grocery section. While I was working around, putting returns back into shelves, I felt someone staring at me. Turned my head to the left and saw a blonde Caucasian woman, probably in her late 50s. I was in the middle of the aisle. She was at the end of the aisle. She looked completely normal to me, dressed normally and had a shopping cart, but with nothing inside the cart. But when I saw her face, her eyes were completely black. It was the most intense feeling of dread I've ever felt in my life. I have never been so terrified, and my heart just dropped. I turned around and quickly walked out of that aisle. I never saw her again, and I never encountered anything similar again. It just all happened so fast. I cannot explain this feeling. This is pure evil. The dread, the fearfulness was unlike anything I've ever felt. I'd like to hear from people with similar experiences. All right. Oh my god, that was scary, dude. So he encountered a Caucasian woman at the end of the aisle with a cart, no eyes. I'm pretty sure just blank face, probably. That's quite terrifying if you just imagine that. Alright, paranormal shelter encounter. I've posted here before twice, and that since I've posted, I can't say anything paranormal or extraordinary has happened to me, but that changed tonight. For context, I have recently gone through a breakup, a multiple year long relationship that ended with bitter and nasty words from all parties. And there's this spot at the local forest preserve that I used to meet my now ex partner. It's an old park shelter off the trails and fallen into despair and disrepair, sorry. It's January, so obviously it's stupid cold outside. But I went there anyway, because I had got it in my head that it was a place filled with good memories of the past and what I used to have. I just wanted to sit, play some quiet music, bundled up in some blankets, cry and reminisce, and that's what I proceeded to do. I got comfortable behind one of the stone walls and played the radio station that I know they listen to 24/7. That's when things got strange. Because as I sat there and listened to the music, I felt like I was being embraced. I had I just had this inexplicable feeling that something was confronting me in my loss. It could have been the snow and the wind, but the radio had some pretty heavy distortion. But it's pretty much started and stopped while I felt this presence. The other the radio, not a sound could be heard, not even the wind. I don't know what to think of this encounter, as I left soon afterwards, but I definitely feel better about my situation. I think a hug was what I needed, and something decided to give me one and comfort me. Now that was amazing. That was amazing. So he felt someone hug him, or kind of something like that. That's amazing. He was, well, in a vulnerable state, and he got comforted by a ghost or something, not really sure, but I'm glad he feels better. He got a hug from a ghost, mate. You can't, not everyone can say that, honestly. Team member in 2012 at a cemetery on our way out. Just a non-modified Canon digital camera, and he was using the flash. All images are in order directly one after another while standing in the same spot. I was next to him. We couldn't see this in with our own eyes, to be fair, but appears to be moving in sequence. It also looks like it's coming out of the tree in the first picture, then it was gone. I mean, it's not wrong. It did show up at the tree. The next, it's on one of those tombstones, and then now it flies to the middle of there, comes back to the tombstone, and it's just gone. It's Yeah, it's just gone. Interesting. That is quite interesting. The light looked awkward. It's not a circle. It's like an upright oval. Then right below it, you see another light. This light is a form of a circle. Same in all three. To me, it looks like a bug, more precisely a tree spider. But a tree spider? What what exactly is a tree spider, though? A tree spider with a form of light coming off of it. The theory probably, makes could make sense, but I don't think a tree spider would make it this far out. You know what I'm saying? It goes like this, then it just, hangs and it goes from the tree here, swings over to this part here, then swings over to this, and it goes back again. I don't know. The Could be, but that's some lateral movement of a spider right there. He's moving by his webs. Tell someone they have a ghost in their house. One single light is flickering in my grandmother's house. It's not like always flickering, but only if we spend time there. I asked in my mind for it to open the lights, and 3 times it worked. Later, I got a confirmation that there are 3 spirits around there, but I don't know how to explain this to my grandmother or anyone. Should I go to her house with sage? I don't know. Probably, man. He should probably take some sage, go to their house. You know, best way to tell someone is usually to tell them whether or not they believe you is not within your control. He's not wrong, dude. He's not wrong. What's the scariest paranormal activity you've ever experienced? I'll start. A few months ago, I saw a shadow figure at the corner of my room, and all of a sudden, the book I was reading at the time fell off my bed. While I wasn't even near it, it's not that crazy, I know, but it's the scariest I've ever experienced so far. Alright, Reddit mod, whatever. Uh, Mom won a China doll at the fair, gave it to me, then woke up with it on my chest, moved by itself. Me and my siblings smashed it up as we were scared, then got haunted. Heard breathing, poltergeist activity, saw a little girl, and a shadow people. Damn. Haha. Oh, what's this? This is a long one. I saw a skinwalker once. I was 15 on a camp trip in the mountains. At about 1 in the morning, I woke up to peace. There was a spot I had used earlier that day, but it was a couple hundred yards away. Being young and confident, I chose to walk all the way there. After leaving a note to my whereabouts and the time labeled on it, I left. Trust me, that bit's important. About halfway to the spot, I started whistling. If you're from the Southwest, you know why that's a bad thing. As I walked, an uncomfortable feeling washed over me. When I stopped walking, I could swear that just for a moment. The sound of walking continued. Slowly I scanned my surroundings, doubting myself, yet unable to stop myself. After a minute of searching, I continued my walk. now more quietly and attentive. When I got to the spot, I quickly did my business and turned back to camp. Now convinced I was being watched, I looked at my watch and read 1:21 a.m. It seemed about right at the time. As my journey back behind, I heard something that made me freeze. Someone was whistling, exactly where I had peed. I spun around to see the tree, with only damn pipe needles next to it. However, that didn't console me. Memories of local stories and advice flooding my head, I walked quickly, watching my surroundings as closely as I could. At many points I heard branches breaking, steps and scraping. After trudging through a fairly thick bunch of trees, now closing on my campsite, I entered a small clearing and stopped in my tracks. Standing in front of me was a deer, and I mean standing, on its hind legs. It was facing away from me, but I knew it could see me. It jerked its head back, one glowing eye, looking right at me, sorry. Then I heard it. The thing's mouth didn't move, yet clearly and loudly it spoke in my voice. What? That is terrifying to hear. In his own voice. Okay, you're not who you're not who I thought you were. Go home. It's impossible to portray just how scared I was in this moment. I couldn't move, stuttered to respond, trying to sift through my fear. Hasty, I rubbed my eyes to calm myself. When I opened them, the deer was gone. I quickly looked around and saw nothing. I was just filled with the urge to run, so I ran back to my tent. When I got back, everyone was still asleep. I managed to not wake anyone, as all I wanted to do was get into my tent. Before I tried to go back to sleep, I. Sorry, I lost myself. I checked my phone. The time read 3:12. Damn. Somehow I lost track of 2 hours doing my walk back. I don't know where I walked to take that much time. And I didn't know I didn't notice. I didn't know how I didn't notice. I was pretty familiar with the area and could still see faint light from town. A couple years later, I told my coworker about this. He happened to be a local Native American, Navajo to be specific. He told me it was a skinwalker and that I shouldn't break it up again. Break it up again? Okay, this is the first time I've said about it since. It does it does sound really creepy when it actually happens to you. He lost 2 hours in the span of 100 yards. Well, I don't exactly know how much 100 yards is. Let me just check it real quick. Hey Google, how much is 100 yards? Yards is equal to 91.44 meters. That's close to 100 meters. Damn. It's not that far, honestly. 100 meters? And it took him 20 minutes to walk 100 meters. Alright, makes sense. It's dark, probably can't see, so you might lose your way how to navigate through. But to be honest, he lost 2 hours. That's a bit strange for 100 meter distance. This is pretty interesting. He met a skinwalker and lost 2 hours of time just trying to navigate past 100 meters. This is interesting, very interesting stuff. I love a skinwalker tale. What's the deal with whistling? I'm not from the Southwest. Well, for starters, you're just not supposed to whistle when you're alone in the woods. Oh, okay, uh probably like a urban, what's that? Urban something. I forgot what it's called. Uh, oh, urban legend. Ah, yes, there you go. That's what it was. Whistling specifically seemed to attract skinwalkers. That is not specific to Southwest either. It's a well-known rule in Appal Appalachia as well. I'm from Midwest, and it also seems to be well-known rule around here, at least around native territory. Not sure why that is, but I've heard the warning enough times to follow the rule. Alright, that is quite a lot of comments on this dude. Sheesh. It's quite a lot of comments there. Let me try this again. My cat hit the enter button. There had been poltergeist activity. The more concerning appeared to be demonic or dark entity. The demonic activity was not focused on anyone in particular, okay, but the entire house. And they folks living there were not expecting that. The activity was almost unnoticeable. An item would move, but we could find other reasons for it happening. The first day, nothing really happened. I started to think folks here heard a creaky door or a rodent in the wall and called it haunting. The next day proved me wrong. As we were sitting, talking, and literally waiting for something, anything to happen, by 10 p.m., we were ready to pack it in and leave. As soon as one of us stood up, all hell broke loose. The room felt oppressive. Items started falling off the walls. Tables, any place something could be, all fell to the ground. This is hard to explain, but the room was filled with sound. Terrible loud yells, cries. It was loud, but the room itself was still. There was not a sound. We all heard these sounds, but none of our recording gear picked up anything. Oh, dude, that sounds like a situation of Sam and Kobe or any of the explorers. When they hear something, but the video doesn't capture it, that's a bit sketchy though, because you don't know if it's your brain tricking you or it's just, I don't know what could it be, but the recording gear does not capture it at all. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you just see it, but your camera doesn't even catch it. That's a bit weird at that point, you know, because you start to think like, am I hallucinating or like what's going on at this point? Let's get back to this. This activity kept up for about an hour and just stopped. We stood looking at each other like, what just happened? We played our audio gear and videotapes, and nothing, no sounds, nothing captured on video, not even the items hitting the floor. We did go back a few months later with some more help and exorcised the house, but until this day I have never been afraid in my life. I have seen really crazy stuff in my life, but nothing like that night. That is quite crazy. I'll say that. That is quite crazy. Okay, my cat's sole purpose in life is to stop me looking at other cats on the internet. To this end, he has so far destroyed 3 smartphones. Damn, that's some aggressive cat. Thank cat I don't go on dating website. Hey, he def enjoy making me undateable. uh, cat is not your wingman. Keep your cat away from your phone. I am telling you now. Keep your cat away from your phone. Okay, next one, next one. I had several terrifying experiences, but the one that really sticks out is when something followed me home from the location I was shooting at. Let me preface this by saying that I'm a photographer who documents abandoned buildings. I try to capture the beauty in what has been left behind and is something I'm very passionate about. Nice. I had been to said location about 4 to 5 times at the time of this experience. Everything was going perfectly fine while I was there. Nothing was worrying me, and I was going about my business and taking my pictures. That all changed when I got home later in the day. I was super excited to upload my photos to my computer and start combining through them. Combining? Maybe it's I I don't know. As soon as I saw the first photo, I immediately shut my laptop and had this absolutely dreadful feeling. I physically could not look at the photos I had taken. A few hours later, a few hours after that, it was time for me to get some sleep. I crawled into bed, still shaken by the feeling I had earlier, but I figured it was just my usual habit of overthinking. Around 2 to 3 a.m., I am jolted awake, but I did not sit up. I'm too scared to sit up because I can feel something in the corner of my room watching me. My entire body felt like a jolt of electricity had just shot through it. I kept pulling the covers over my face, hoping it'd go away eventually. I never got the courage to look in the corner, but I could feel that it was a dark mass, possibly childlike. Although I was absolutely terrified, I didn't feel threatened at all. It eventually subsided, and I have never experienced a feeling like this since then. It's hard to explain, but this place just had a strange hold on me. It's like something wanted my help to get out. I stopped going there after my seventh visit. I still want to go back, but I promised myself I wouldn't go back for a few years, which is easier now that I don't live in that part of the country anymore. I'll never forget my experiences here, and the history of the location will stick with me forever. Damn, usually people would bring home like haunted spirits or some demons attached to them, but he brought home a spirit that left him, which is quite weird, but I'll say he is really lucky that the spirit subsided and chose to move away from him. But though, what did he capture on the picture though? Because this all started when he looked at that image that he had captured, right? I wish he could share that image, but it's fine. I am currently getting a little bit of chills on me right now. Slight. My legs have chills on them. The goosebumps are real, but my arms are completely fine, just my legs. Uh, May I ask what building or area were you shooting at? I live outside of Detroit. Our abandoned buildings are quite spectacular. Some, like our train station, have been renovated, still have paranormal activities. Upstate New York. Oh, yeah, doesn't New York have like a lot of abandoned buildings as well, right? Yeah, buddy. Oh, oh, posting some soon. Okay. Yo, posting some photos in the comments thread for who were interested. These were all of the day in the question, circa 2018. Open them in maximum eerie vibes. Let's check this picture out. Oh, I mean, it's a 2018 picture. Looks pretty freaking good, dude. Honestly. Wow. It's a really rusted chair. Always, it has a table on it as well. Sick. Yeah, more pictures. Oh, dude. Ah, that's hot. This is a bit, this is a bit eerie though. It's a bit eerie. Can I just something about it? A something a little bit? Okay. There's the peace logo, 6464. Think there's some graffiti overlaying each other. All right, show up. Oh, this is a bit. I mean, honestly, I could picture a photo shoot going here though. Just some uh some kind of commercial or some kind of model is brought here to take a picture. Feels like it though, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, this one. Oh, oh, this one is actually quite scary. Like it's a bit creepy because all the paint is peeling off. And then let's say if he saw this at night, he probably saw something that made him freak out. Well, it's fine. These are amazing pictures though. Did anyone zoom into the darkness at the end of the hallway? Was there a painting or something on the wall? You just made me zoom in. I have never noticed that. Wow, haha. So unsettling. But thinking it's a painting, there are surprisingly a lot of old paintings and curtains you probably saw left from the facility when it was operating. Oh, okay. Yeah, a lot of stuff are just left behind. Quite insane. Anyway, let's get to the next one here. The scariest I've ever experienced was at my own rented house in 2014. Okay. We moved into a rental built in 1923. Damn, that's old. When we were there for about 6 months and it was nice. Then things got weird. Mostly low-key stuff that was kind of funny sometimes. Okay. Okay. For example, my credit card went missing and I assumed the wife had snagged it. Nope. I was approaching the land of pissed when she suggested I ask the ghost where it was. To humor her, I did. 20 seconds later, the Blu-ray disc holder slid out, and it was my credit card. Damn. The Blu-ray drive just opened up. I saw, here you go, bro. Your card. I was just hiding it for you. Like, no hard feelings, man. I'm just playing hide and seek. All right, relax. Change. I can't believe the ghost really did that. It really played with him. Oh my god. The detached garage was the scary part. It was my workshop. In real life, I am an engineer. In my personal time, I'm an amateur machinist. All my reference manuals were on a bookshelf with glass doors. The WoW workshop often felt off. I was arranging my tools with my back to the bookcase, which weighed a couple £100 with the books in it. I heard a strange sound, something vibrating. The bookshelf pushed itself off the wall, and my back went through the glass door. Luckily, it did not cut me. I am a large and scary looking guy. After that, I spent very little time out there. We moved out in 2018, but are still in contact with our old neighbors. After we left, the house was empty, and the neighbor reported all the lights were going on and off. and she thought we were there and having trouble. Oh my god, that is really haunted. The fact that the ghost would play hide and seek with you with your own stuff. Now that's a bit concerning, I'm not gonna lie. Slightly concerning. Okay. And after they left, the ghost just messed around in the house, turning the lights on and off, on and off, on and off. Damn, that is a bit scary, dude. I'm not gonna lie about it. That's quite scary. Yeah. That DVD thing is terrifying. It means it was listening to your conversation. The book thing is even worse. Oh yeah, the bookcase thing. I'm surprised he didn't just get completely crushed under it though. Next one. When I was 9 years old, one night I woke up when I was sure I felt someone sit on the edge of my bed. It was a twin mattress, very springy and very loud. I could feel the mattress compress, and in the dark I assumed it was my brother whose bed was next to mine about 4 feet away. I said his name a few times, and when he didn't answer I sat up and reached down to poke at him for messing with me. As my hand got closer to where I thought he was, I couldn't feel anything. So I reached further, and my hand went down into the depression. Okay. There was nothing there. I was so scared that I couldn't even move for what seemed like minutes. I managed to scream, recoil as far as possible I could get, and turned on the lamp on the stand between our beds. My brother was wide awake from my screaming, and while we both were looking to see what it was as if an invisible person stood up, and the depression disappeared. It felt and looked like an adult was sitting there, and they just got up and left. I have never been able to overcome the panic and terror I felt when my hand went into that depression. Damn, that's quite. I got no words. I think I have felt something like that before, but not exactly knowing what it was. I have felt like, when you're laying in bed, all right, and suddenly, you feel like something's compressing right next to you, but then when you turn over, it just disappears. I don't know. I just had that kind of feeling. One time I was just lying on my bed. It felt like someone was beside me, but it was only a one person bed. Like only one person could lie down on it. And I felt that kind of compression next to me. I was like, what is going on? So I turned around. Well, there's nothing there. It felt like something was compressing, but thank God there was nothing there, not even a shadow, nothing. So I guess it was just some odd feeling I had, probably. We'll never know. Alright. When I was 9 years old, oh wait, I just read this. Fuck, I'm a dumbass. ZZBD. Oh, this one's a long one. Let's read this. My scariest experience was when I was young. I had already made a similar post to this, and I told this story in detail, but a long story short, I was in a haunted house when I was little. At first, there were the usual disembodied voices stomping around the house when no one was there, giant gray gates shutting despite the wind not being able to, and other odd things. But these three times were a bit different. Once I was in the backyard with my brother. We played separately. He liked sports, so he was throwing a ball. I liked animals, so I played with a toy dinosaur. Looked like the old renditions of the T Rex before Jurassic Park. Oh, so he's talking about those ones that you buy for like displays and stuff like that. Probably. Our mother called us in for dinner, and also because it was dusk, we went inside, but I realized I left my dinosaur outside. I went outside to get it, and I see it standing there right by the tree. I went to go pick it up until it crumbled. It was dirt in the shape of my dinosaur. What? Another time I was watching my dearest mother go to work. It was the afternoon. I was and still am a mother's boy, so when I was a kid I would often be at the window of my room watching her go to work whilst waving. Well, on this day, I noticed a snake slithering right behind her, following her as she headed for the car. The snake was all black, and something more I watched, I noticed that even though it was slithering and therefore not in a straight line, its length looked to be twice her height. What? I'm sorry, twice her height? She is around 5'8", making the snake around 11 feet in length? What the Anyways, she got into the car and the snake slithered back into the bushes just under her window. Okay, I looked down and noticed the snake looking right at me. What the frick? The last was when I heard some noise and saw the old man. I was up and it was the middle of the night. My TV was on, playing the typical show that are on after dark. I heard walking, so I opened the door and went to the hallway thinking it was my father, only to see the old man. The best I can describe this guy is like a corpse. I ran to my mom and banged on her door. She opened and I hollered, and I was hollering about how there's an ugly man in the house. She took it as someone actually breaking in, and she picked me up in one hand and a bat in the other, and ran around the house cussing, turning any lights she could find on. Damn, that's crazy, dude. That is crazy. These are three different events. These are three different incidents that happened to this man. That is crazy, dude. That is quite crazy. Oh my god. Wild. First, his dinosaur turned into dirt, and he went to a tree where he saw his dinosaur. It turned out to be dirt. I'm surprised he didn't just get kidnapped there. Not gonna lie, because that'd be quite a way to lure the kid in. You know, you have the toy dinosaur there. He's alone. You know, but whatever. The next one, I, that's a huge snake. Like, how does one not notice an 11-foot snake slithering right behind them? What the H? No freaking way, man. And this third one, I personally would say is terrifying. You see a random man that looks like a goddamn corpse. I'm 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 freaking running out the door. I will grab my keys and out the door. Literally, I don't care. I don't care about the man. I don't care about the house at this moment. I'm literally running out. I don't care.